Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is more than just a podcast. And that was our 1 minute tribute to our dearly departed Queen. God save the King. It's myself and Nigel this evening. The Booches have got some family issues, and Len is respecting a period of mourning. Good luck to him. So Nigel and myself, just a short one this week, just to catch up with everybody. It's been a strange week, isn't it, Nigel? Oh, first of all, where are you? What are you doing, Nigel?
I'm in my shed.
Shedman.
That's it. Fulfil the contractual obligations.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So we're a little tribute. I didn't know you played that really well, by the way, Nigel.
Thank you very much.
Have you been practicing long?
Yeah, I learned it on the organ.
Very good. Yeah, man of many talents.
I am.
I think it's safe to say we're both royalists, aren't we? To
Yes.
some degree.
Yes.
And obviously, it was quite a surreal experience last Thursday because both of us were going to the game against FCSB, and we started to hear rumours, and I certainly knew some West Ham fans. One who was in emergency planning that started giving me things about Operation London Bridge in the afternoon, and again we knew people that sort of said, it's not looking good. And by the way, when we're on our way, it was quite obvious that something was going on. BBC people were dressing in black suits.
As soon as the BBC went all black, that was it for me.
Yeah. But it was too late, to cancel anything. I'd messaged the club and said, look, I hear there's an announcement. I'd been briefed by a few people about 5 o'clock, obviously, after the time that the Queen had departed, but hadn't been publicly announced. And obviously a few people knew. And I said to the club, look, is it going ahead tonight? What's going on? And they were quite tight-lipped. And literally, I think by the time we met each other, it just come out a few minutes ago, hadn't it? When we met at the London Stadium.
It'd been out a while. I mean, I can tell you, I caused quite a scene on the bus.
Did you?
Yes. I just caught the bus on Prince Regent's Lane to Stratford in Plaistow, and sat down, phone out. Woman sits down, African woman, and it flashed up on the phone. The Queen had died. BBC. So as I'm looking at my phone, and it's like, what? It is a bit gutting because you knew it weren't looking good.
Yeah.
But when you see it there, it all we've ever known is the Queen. So it is a shock. So then you think, oh, so I showed the woman. I said, look, the Queen's dead. And she went, what? I said, the Queen's died. They've announced it. She screamed at the top of her voice. Oh my God. Of course, everybody else looks around on the bus now at me and this woman. So I'm like, and then other women, and I didn't realise it was all women on the bus. And other women go, what's the matter? What's the matter? And she goes, oh, the Queen is dead. The Queen is dead. God bless the Queen. And then another woman went, what, the Queen has died? And I'm like, yeah, she died. They've just announced it. Oh, mate, she started crying, wailing.
Yeah.
And you think
it does affect people. I mean,
it does.
People even know something's coming, even with their own family.
I'm
when
a
it
bit
happens,
like,
it's still a shock.
Calm down, people, though, yeah? Not on a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
East
know.
End,
Yeah,
upper lip.
I
haven't been on a bus for many years. Do they still have route masters and stuff anymore?
Well, they have a new route master, but we don't have them. They're for the tourists.
Okay.
Destinations, the West End in the East
Bendy
End.
buses? Do they have bendy buses still?
No, the bendy buses all caught fire and burnt out, didn't they?
Right,
Not a great idea of Boris's.
I will have to try a bus one of these days.
Yeah, you should do that. I'll tell you one day what we call them, but I won't tell you on here.
Okay.
But anyway.
I was on the Jubilee line, and of course Jubilee line has Wi-Fi now, so it came across, and everybody was looking at their phones, and in
Of
a bit
course,
of shock.
named after the Queen's Jubilee in
Yeah,
1977 when it
yeah.
was built.
She's got the Queen Elizabeth line now, of course,
She
named
has,
after
yeah.
her.
In the Queen Elizabeth II Park.
Yeah. But
Perhaps they should rename the stadium. Do you not
moving
think?
on to the game,
Do you not think that quickly? That
yeah, yeah. I
instead of
mean,
it London
obviously,
Stadium.
Queen Elizabeth Park. If they can't find a naming provider, they're still looking for one.
Yeah,
You know,
6 years later. Yeah,
Queen Elizabeth Stadium. Why not?
there you go. Started here.
Um, I thought the club did really well, considering the time they had to plan this. They'd been speaking to UEFA during the day
Mm.
and the FA to get advice, because obviously the writing was on the wall. And in the time they had, to when we got there, we'd already heard, and when we were outside, not drinking
Yep.
beer on the concourse. Um, um,
Boycott the bars.
yeah, boycott the bars. Um, they ditched the normal sort of upbeat music and put somber music on. We heard they were ditching bubbles, both the physical bubbles and the music bubbles. And the nice touch, which it seems small, but it really made a difference, is they banned all advertising.
Yeah.
All LED boards were blacked out if you didn't see it on the TV. And there was just no electronic advertising. Obviously, they couldn't do anything with the, Betway that was there already. And they had, some images up on the big screen. But the really poignant thing, and it felt a bit surreal, they sold 40,000 tickets, and we'll come on to the bits it's not Queen related in a minute. But it was a bit eerie, and the silence started, and people didn't know how to react. And then there's spontaneous. Everyone just started singing "God Save the Queen" without really thinking about it, and I thought that was quite an emotional experience, if I'm honest with
Well,
you, being there.
it is because we'll never sing that again in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So, without realising it, that's the last time
And we
ever.
showed the world how it's done. We were
Yeah.
in the right place at the right time. Piers Morgan, who I don't have a lot of time for, praised it, and everyone, even David Gold praised fans today or yesterday, saying how proud he was.
5 days later, well done, Dave.
Well, he's
Yeah.
he turned
Better
86.
late
I
than
hope you wished him happy birthday last week.
Well, obviously, I did put that picture in the group chat, and everybody thought I was putting a picture of David Golding there because of advertising his golf games.
Oh yeah.
But actually, on the picture, it said birthday today.
Yeah.
And that was why I put it in the group, and nobody noticed it.
Yes.
See, I
wish you
make
happy
you
birthday.
work for it. I make you work for it.
Yeah,
I don't
I know
just
you
give
do.
it away for nothing. So you didn't get that one.
So, look, we don't want to make this, a Queen tribute and a God Save the King a podcast, because it's not a royal podcast. But we're both respectful. I'm gonna go on Monday with the crowds and battle with it. I've made my own little bits and pieces, and been to Royal Palace, etc. And I think I said on this podcast I'd actually gone to Buckingham Palace just 4 days before she died, just as a coincidence. But anyway, let's talk about the football. The first thing to say is, I was told, and I think wrote an article on 6'2". Let's get the first plug in, Nigel.
You write for 6'2", do you,
I
Sean?
do write for 6'2". Record figures, Nigel.
Yeah, well done.
And I wrote.
To be honest, you didn't have a lot to beat, but you are doing well.
Yeah.
We'll congratulate you.
I wrote that there will only be 30,000, right?
Yeah.
And that's what the figures were. 3 days before, 30,000 tickets had been sold, 62,000 stadium. It was a combination of, we've done Europe, pricing. I guess there was a number of reasons.
Unknown team.
Huh?
Unknown team.
Unknown team.
Even though I think what makes it unknown is the FCSB bit, and we can bore people a little bit later
Oh yeah, I
on the
got in a bit of
whys
trouble
and
writing the
wheres.
article on that.
Yeah, on FCSB and
You
everything
know where I
else.
got that from? The club.
All right, yeah, it's. We'll
It's
explain it after
contentious,
we'd
but
done the
anyway,
game.
so 30,000 expected, which is not bad, for a small part. It's some believe it's a bit of a Mickey Mouse Conference League. Not as well known team, midweek, early on in the thing. I bought the package, £24 each. I think if you'd have bought the package, you slightly missed it, didn't you?
I
It would have
cocked
been
up,
£14.
yeah, because I read the email and I thought it was £66, but that was what it was selling at for band 3. Band 4 on 5, I think band 4 and 5 were £42
Hmm.
or band or whatever. So it would have been cheaper. You've just reminded me I need to email the ticket box
Oh yes, they still owe you
because
money. They took the wrong amount of money out.
they still owe me money because and anyone
Well,
that
they,
bought
not
band
not only that,
5.
they owe Gary money, don't they, from
Yeah,
Claret and
so
Booze?
I pointed it out. So I bought
166 quid, I think they owe him. They owe
off
him
of
a lot of
Gary.
money.
Yeah, they right tucked him up, Gary
Yeah.
Keaton from Carrot and Booze. So basically, I went on. I didn't know if I'd be able to get to the game. Got a load of other things going on, so didn't know if I could get to the game. And it transpired that I could go to the game. So I bought 2 tickets for me and my son-in-law on the Tuesday, and it charged me £24 plus a pound booking. 25 quid. It's 50 quid. So you think, right, okay, 50 quid, I pay it. I thought, didn't seem right because I thought it was cheaper. I thought it was 20 quid. But it's one of them things where, look, I want to go to a game. I paid the money. So I paid the money. And then it took me about half hour to then find where the email from the club and link to the site where it said match day ticket, £19. And
Yeah.
there was no time frame on that. So I don't know if there's anybody else who bought a ticket for 25 or for £24 plus £1 booking fee in
I heard-
band 5.
I
You
heard other
should have only
people-
paid £19.
Yeah, someone else told me on another WhatsApp group. I mean, lots of West Ham
Yeah.
WhatsApp groups told me they paid 24 quid.
Yeah. Well, they've possibly then.
Why have you paused?
So I was just taking a swig of tea.
All right. Okay.
I respect the listeners, Sean. When I So yeah, so there is that. So people need to look at that. If your band, I think it was band 5, we should have only paid £19, and they charged me. I don't know if band 4 should have only paid that as well.
I
but
think they
maybe
did.
not.
I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
you're right.
It was a thing. So, but hey ho, look, I don't know. I look back 30,000 when we got to the ground. There was a damn sight more
Well, let's
Romanians
talk about. Well, so I was about to get into that.
there. Yeah, all right.
You know,
yeah.
there was something on social media saying 10,000 people are turning up from the president of FCSB,
Yeah.
and he posted a link of. I mean, they were queuing at the ticket office in person, hundreds of people, and you think, oh yeah, 10,000, and they have
Yeah,
3,000.
the queue was
well.
long, wasn't it? That
It
was that the Wednesday?
That was a Wednesday, right? And on the Thursday, right? They were queuing on the Thursday. And when we turned up, we met outside on the concourse, didn't we? Just outside the
Yeah.
concourse. There were Romanians everywhere, weren't there? Absolutely everywhere.
We were outnumbered, I thought.
We were outnumbered. But you know what? And I sort of agree with Paul Turner, who mentioned this. You know, most of them weren't doing anything wrong. Most of them live in London. They didn't know any different. You know, don't know about segregation. They probably don't go to a lot of matches. They were there to support Romania. And I thought we probably treated them a bit shabbily because, you know, they weren't on the whole wearing colours. And, you know, all right, when they scored the goal, and we'll come on to the game in a minute, a few of them celebrated. and you know, people getting stewards and saying take them out. And
Yeah.
I
It's a
thought, you know,
contentious
if you sit,
issue.
look, I've sat in away as you have. Sit on
Yeah.
your hands. Don't celebrate the goals. Don't antagonise the
Do you know, I,
locals.
I think it's a bit difficult when you got fans of foreign clubs that obviously live in London, yeah, that have come over to the game. Now let's get this right. The people that haven't might not have seen anything or whatever. They sold their allocation out, so their end was sold out
Yeah.
3,200. So
And there's unlimited tickets available.
perhaps
And
I
you
don't
can,
know.
and because there's no
Yeah,
restrictions, you can create a reference number or go up to Ticket
yeah.
Box and
I
buy
don't
any. Yeah.
see, and this is where I think the club are a bit have a lack of
But
understanding.
why not? Why not?
No.
Why-
I'll come on to it.
Go on.
This happened at Upton Park. Yeah. So
It
for
did.
those that remembered the Astor games, when we played them Upton Park, well, there was only one at Upton Park, but that game there was loads of Romanians there for that game. It's obviously whenever there's an East European team playing at home in London and tickets are available, we've got a big East European population, as we know, in East London or in London generally. So you know, only a tube ride away. They will come and support their team. I don't have a problem with it, and even the ones that jumped up when they scored didn't really. You know, it was a half full stadium. Didn't have a problem with it. Now the funny thing is that he said, I've been to loads of grounds. I've been to loads of grounds where West Ham have been there. You know, you go to some of the major places in London, but I mean, years ago, like if you went to Wimbledon at Sellers Park, so Wimbledon away games at Sellers Park, 50% of the crowd was West Ham. We overtook. And yet, when we scored, we celebrated. The same at Watford. I've seen the same at QPR. Not obviously 50% of Watford at QPR, but I've seen sizable West Ham support in away ends celebrating goals. Done it myself. I mean, madly, I've done it at Tottenham a couple of times.
I did it at Chelsea the other week.
But
I
that's
was
what I'm
in
saying.
corporate
So yeah,
ends
but
and
you was
none of
corporate.
them-
That's a bit different when you're
Yeah, I
in
know,
with the,
but it was still surrounded by Chelsea, and I
Yeah.
celebrated the second goal.
But,
I couldn't help
you know,
myself. I really couldn't. You know.
No, I know. Look, the first time I ever went corporate was at White Hart Lane, and I'm sitting next to Martin Peters. Ian White banged one in, and I jumped up, went mad. My mate, who was a Tottenham, I was his guest, like told me to sit down and shut up, Nigel. For Christ's sake, everybody's staring at me, but corporate ain't going to do anything.
No.
So I don't get the big furore about this, you know, and I'm not a lover of telling stewards to throw people out. It's not,
But that's what
you know,
people did, and it's
yeah,
a
I
bit.
don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. I didn't get it either.
No.
But you know, I thought most of them, you know, they kind of all been chucked out. A few of them were chucked out, and do you know what? In front of me, it was really sad. They actually started pushing, and a few fists flew. I don't know.
Yeah,
they
it was there.
contacted-
There
was
was
a
a
bit-
few.
yeah, it
Well,
was a bit-
further along from you, in the dearer seats, which would have been more towards the halfway line from where you were, there was like a woman jumped up with a couple of kids, and people were pointing them out, and you think, come on, people. You know, it was just the only thing, as I would say to the club, is that when you've got that situation, you know the tickets are not going to sell well. Yeah. Perhaps you could have left a couple of blocks next to the Romanians empty as well. And
Yeah,
put them
I
in
think
there.
you're right.
And put them in there.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I mean, you're right. Funny enough, guess who I bumped into at full time?
not Nicola Key.
I did, yeah.
Oh, all right.
And
I wish I'd been there, Sean.
She went.
I'd-
She went. I
you
said,
know
"A lot
what
of
I would have
Romanians
said
here
to her?
tonight." She went,
You know
"Oh,
what I
I
would have said?
know."
You know what I would have said to her?
Go on.
Where's my tenner?
Oh, I didn't.
No,
I did
that's what
actually.
would have said.
Say to her, "Is the Newcastle game going ahead?" And she said, "No, not a hope in hell, Sean." Which I've given away my sauce. Anyway, it's good because we've been waffling on, but we've got a special guest tonight. Did you know that, Shedman?
No,
Do you know
I
who it
didn't.
is?
No, I don't. Yeah,
It's-
hold up.
Go on.
Don't tell me.
Go on.
He's obviously got his speakers on because I can hear myself coming back now.
All right.
So that must be the goat herder from the hills
It is
of
the goat
Cyprus.
herder from Cyprus. Stelios, give me
Good
that.
evening.
Ooh, where
Good
are you?
evening.
What are you doing?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said, where are you? What are you doing?
We can hear ourselves. What are you doing?
I've just finished doing my second show for tonight. Doing a preview of the Silky board game. I'd like to call it my studio, but it's the hallway. That's
I thought
where my
you were going to
studio
go to
is.
Denmark.
You know what? I'm still thinking about it.
Well, I gave you the camping site.
Oh, shut up! There's no way my other
too
half is
posh
going to
to
stay
go
on
camping now, are we, Stel? And you call
No.
me posh?
it. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen unless it's a minimum
Are
4-star
you
hotel.
allowed
She
to
ain't
go
going.
to Denmark on your own without your missus?
No, she said I'll meet you out there because she's flying back from holiday herself at the moment.
Oh,
she went out.
goes on holiday on her own. It's one of those kind
course.
of relationships.
Of
Okay.
course, we have that kind of trust.
Open relationship. Yeah.
Well, no, Sean, it's not an open. No, not quite.
Okay.
Still,
Yeah.
Yes, mate.
go get headphones.
Why? What's going on?
We can put him. Look, so I can put him on no headphones
Do that.
like that, and that will stop
That's
that
better.
problem.
That's
We
better.
do need to apologise for you last. Do you want to make your apology for your sound last week?
Marcel, yeah, I would actually. In the main podcast, I was very quiet, and it weren't because I was whispering people. It was because I'd rushed home from work. I was eating my dinner, and I hadn't set my microphone to the right position. So there you go.
He didn't want you to hear him eating.
No, that's right. So
So
I
he put his
respect the
microphone
listeners.
and forgot to put it down again.
Yes,
Right?
yeah, I did. I moved the microphone and forgot to move it again.
So let's
So
talk
do you
about...
want me? Do you want me to put headphones on?
No,
or you...
I've put it that you don't need headphones. Don't worry, I've
All
it's
right.
an option.
Because he's got a fancy new mic, Sean. You know, that looks like some like I don't want to say
Spaceship.
what it looked like. Yeah.
Anyway, let's start with a stat attack, and I'm going to come to you, Stel. So start thinking something interesting to say. West Ham had 66% possession on Thursday night. They had 34%. We had 21 shots, 7 on target. They had 9 shots, 4 on target. We had 10 corners, and I remember them, and they had 2. Stel, you were there.
I was. Can I ask those stats? How many of those shots did we have after we scored our penalty?
I don't know because I'm
Because-
looking at the BBC website and it doesn't break it down like that. But
I mean, I asked that in a kind of a bit of a facetious way because
we were shocking first half. Well, let's start there. Let's start with that woeful first half. I mean, the team was still in mourning. We've done the whole Queen thing, by the way, and we played the national anthem. So, apologies you missed that. But
It's not his queen, though, is it?
oh no, true.
The Germans threw their royal family out. In fact, we got them, didn't we? Because obviously we took Field of Greek.
Was Cyprus not part of the
it's part of the
empire?
Commonwealth. Yeah, it was part of the Commonwealth. Yeah,
It was. So she is your head of state.
Cyprus in the Commonwealth.
it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
Is,
Why?
was, don't know. Oh,
Have we-
mate, I
we-
don't know. We've got 2 or 3 British bases out there still, all in the name of keeping the peace.
I was going to say that's to stop you and the Turks from going to war. So
Well, that worked well back in '74, didn't it? But let's not go into history.
fucking
Let's
hell.
not do the history.
I get it from my mate on the Turkish side. I don't need it on the Greek side as well.
Oh, well, you see, it was up to 1960, right? But in 1960, Cyprus gained its independence from United Kingdom.
That's correct.
So
That's
she
correct.
probably
we became
was.
a republic in
She
61.
was queen.
So
for
it
the
weren't
first
Greek
8
then?
years. Well, from 1952 when she became queen to 1960, she was queen.
When did we get it then?
Oh,
Who did
you had
we-
it for years, mate.
Or did we beat the Greeks to get it?
Well, that doesn't take much with a population of less than 1 million to sort of defeat the Cypriots, does it?
No, well, would have been a walkover. I'm just thinking about the Greeks. I thought Cyprus was Greek.
Oh, do you really want me to go into the history of this?
Oh no, we don't, because
No,
we
no,
are
you
trying to
don't.
be a football podcast.
No, because all the
About
Turks will
these.
turn off. So this crack on.
What, or one of them?
Anyway, let's get back to the football. First half, what went wrong?
I don't know what happened there. We were just so.
Skamaka.
Well, I'm not blaming Skamaka. I actually don't think
He
Skamaka
looked
should have
like he
played.
was still
I
ill,
don't-
to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't look fit enough, and
Skahala. I don't know about
that's
Skamaka, Vinny.
No,
He
that's
looks
a
more
bit-
like Skahala.
Oh, that's a bit.
let's
below the
not
belt.
go there. Let's
Not
not
yet,
go there.
anyway.
But he weren't the only player that was off form. Lanzini was invisible.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Cornet didn't have a very good game in the first half. I think you could pick on quite a number of players who didn't seem to show up, and had it not been for the penalty,
Well,
I wonder
actually,
what
you
the
say
result
that,
would have been.
but one person who stood out for me in the first half was Flynn Downs.
Yeah, he was the best. He was the man of the match. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, he was running around in the first half, but Rice, Lanzini, Ben Rama didn't really do much. Gamaka didn't do anything, as you say. Cornet didn't do much.
It was quite.
You know, Emerson or Bonner, Kieran Sufal didn't have anything to do, nor did Ariola. But you know, you wanted something to come from somewhere, didn't you? And well, you say they didn't have much to do. Obviously, they did concede a goal. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, they did, and I put that down to
Who'd you blame?
lack
Go on.
of concentration from Emerson.
Oh, do you?
I think he turned into Masuaku for a split moment.
Do you?
Fucking hell, still. That's a bit harsh, isn't it?
What harsh on Masuaku or harsh on?
Well,
Emerson.
yeah. Yeah. Perhaps a bit
let's
harsh
come
on
to you.
Emerson.
I've given him the hard half. I'll give you to the easy half. Obviously, he made a number of changes. I mean, right in front of me, I saw Paquetá warming up with Bowen, and obviously both of them came on at half time with Antonio. So 3 changes, unlike Moyes, but it changed the game, Nigel.
Yeah, I think Moyes shown with what he did last season in Europe that the best way to treat this tournament is to go at it early doors, win your games and get qualified early, and then play kids or your full B team once you've got qualification out of the way. So qualification, you probably need to win the first out of the first 4 games, either win all 4, guarantee win the. If you win all 4, you've probably won the league. If you win 3, draw 1, you've qualified. Now we know, because we don't want the extra 2 games, probably in February, that we want to win the league.
Yeah.
So to go straight into the round of 16 without going for the UEFA Cup dropouts. And I think that's what Moyes, that was the reaction Moyes made at half time. We've gone down 1-0. He's not happy. Send on, the big boys. Antonio, I don't know, is it because of Skamaka?
He had, you said.
But I thought Antonio.
You said Downs was man of the match. I
Yeah.
thought Antonio was man of the match. I thought
Well,
he
no,
was
I'll give it
immense,
to Downs because he
personally.
was on for most of the game.
No,
Antonio
it
was,
was Stel that
yeah.
called him
But
man
no,
of
I thought Downs was man of the match.
Oh, do you? Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
thought
I just think
was-
Antonio was
They
the
just
best
didn't know
player
what
in
to
the
do
second
with
half.
They didn't know what to do with Antonio. He was just unmanageable by then.
Yeah, you know, so it's a good
Back to his best form, but
Yeah.
maybe with an inferior. But anyway, let's talk about 68 minutes. We're still 1-0 down, and I'm starting to worry a bit. And I turn to Mark next to me, Mark Murphy. He says, "Don't worry, Sean. We ain't going to lose this." And if you know Mark. He's a bit of a worrier. 10 minutes to go, he usually goes up to the concourse because he can't watch the end. But it gave me a little bit of confidence. And lo and behold, 69 minutes, we get awarded a penalty. No VAR, Nigel.
luckily.
It could have not be. I wrote an article on 6'2" on this. If VAR was that, it could.
That
they
was
could have looked
never
at it.
a penalty in a million years.
Well, that's what I thought.
never
I
a
got
penalty.
grief for writing an article about that. saying-
It was never a penalty. You watch the replay.
Yeah.
Never a penalty. The 2 jumped together. The goalkeeper, at no point does he foul. Was it Cornet? At no point does he foul Cornet.
Yeah.
Cornet don't foul the
was-
goalkeeper. Goalkeeper
Yeah,
don't foul Cornet. It's a coming together of
was a
2
very
players going for the ball.
fortunate- Yeah,
That's
it
a-
was a very
Oh.
fortunate penalty.
That's a penalty you get with European referees. under pressure when you're the home team.
Yeah.
The away team never
Stel,
gets a penalty like that.
I'm going to ask you a question to see if you've been
Go
reading
on.
my articles on 6'2". Why is there
Have
no
I?
VAR at the game?
I do know the answer to this, and it wasn't through your article, but I can't remember the answer. Is it because certain leagues don't have it in place, so they
It's
decided to get
because
rid of
this
it in total?
competition is designed for the minnows to take part, and it's too expensive for some European smaller
That's it.
teams to install
Yeah.
VAR. It's only going to be used in the final.
Is that right?
That's going to go well then, isn't it?
Yeah, introduced in the final.
Is that right to do that in a tournament? Well, actually, I don't mind that if they're not having it, and so nobody has it. So if you look at the FA Cup very quickly, VAR's only used in stadiums with VAR. So stadiums without VAR, which is basically non-Premier League teams, you don't have VAR in the FA Cup final. Now, to me, that's a detriment to the tournament. So some people will get a benefit from not having that. So therefore, in the FA Cup, no VAR, and perhaps until the semi-finals. I don't know. So that's what I'd do. So that's not a bad idea.
So
I personally think if there's no VAR throughout the tournament, there shouldn't be VAR in the final either. Keep it consistent. It's only going to cause controversy in a final. You know, imagine getting to a final. What was refreshing? I think you're right, Nigel. I don't think it was a penalty, but what was refreshing was it went back to the old-fashioned football where the referee made a decision. It was all done and dusted within a few seconds, and off we went. And can you imagine it getting to the final and then at the last stage something happens and VAR's involved after not having it throughout the whole competition?
I don't know because in the final, well, me personally, no, I don't think there should be any VAR. Then again, I don't believe in the VAR in the Premier League either. So
I know
perhaps...
you were quoted in 6'2" earlier.
I was.
Did you,
That was
did you like
amazing. That was
I know.
good. That was good because I don't actually remember you telling me.
Well,
that,
you've
me
said it
telling
enough
you.
times to me, so I just sort of summarised the quote, you know?
Thank you very much.
Did you say 90 seconds or did you say less? I can't remember. That's a bit I couldn't remember.
I think I said 60 seconds.
Oh, right.
But
Okay.
still,
Well, what's 30 seconds?
what's 30 seconds, two friends? Yeah.
But let's just move on. Still staying on VAR. Emerson's first goal. There was question marks, certainly by some commentators, about Antonio tussling with a defender, whether VAR would look at that, because he seemed to be a bit clumsy, bundling into a defender that could have been considered a foul to leave Emerson free to score his debut goal.
I don't think that was a foul. I think that was just good old-fashioned, two players.
But they could have looked
tussling
at
for the
it.
ball. Oh, VAR would have done, yeah.
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 Nigel, how did you make Antonio bundling in for Emerson to leave Emerson free to score his?
No, I
first goal?
I didn't see a problem there. Football is a contact sport, and this is what annoys me now about modern football.
I've
the way
seen him
some
give him-
fans it.
Yeah, he seems clumsy. I've seen them
But
deny.
football is a contact sport,
Yeah,
so
I know
therefore,
that, but
and
I've
not
seen
all
the way
contact in a
VAR
penalty area. Hold up,
VAR's
not
been
all
there.
contact in a penalty area is a penalty or a foul, and this is
But
what's
if it had
happened
been
with
a foul,
VAR.
it would have been the goal would have been disallowed.
Yeah, but it weren't.
Well, because VAR wasn't there.
There you go. And how better was football for it?
Yeah, no.
How better was celebrating? No, it wouldn't be chalked off for it.
Yeah, no. It was good.
You know. So
And then
I mean-
for those who stayed to the end, like me, and I hope you,
yeah, I was there.
we were rewarded with. Well, obviously Antonio got the assist with Emerson. I didn't mention that, and then Fornal's assist to Antonio on the 90th minute. And I think I think he deserved that. That's why I thought, for me, Antonio was. Fornals came on 68 minutes. I'm sure you remember, for Kone. And Dornay came on. Dornay. Dawson came on 92 minutes to a massive applause of a chorus of "There's only one Craig Dawson," which I
Yeah,
thought
I
was
thought that
a great
was
return for him.
good because, there's this rumour put about by people that he's possibly not willing to play, and I wouldn't want
Well, who
that
would
to
put that
tarnish.
rumour out?
I don't.
I've got a bit of a theory on that. I remember because we're down on the Bobby Moore lower, so the players when they warm up come our side, and he actually did look a little bit apprehensive when he was sort of running towards us warming up. I'm not so sure how
He
he
got a
thought
good
he might
reception
have
though,
been.
didn't
He got a
You what,
brilliant
mate?
reception.
he? Got a good reception down there, didn't
He got a very no. This is it. That's what I mean. He got a very good reception, but he looked a little bit apprehensive, probably not knowing what reception he might have got, given all the rumours that are going on. See, I don't know how players get affected with all the rumours. You know, they obviously know what's going on because it's about them. But he got a very, very good reception. But I just wonder if maybe that plays on a player's mind. You know, when
Oh,
rumours
yeah.
like that get bandied around.
I think it would do. I
Yeah.
think it would play on his mind.
So, 3-1 probably flattered us a bit, but you know we did the job second half. We win. We get €500,000 bonus. You know, thanks to all the 10,000 Romanians giving us ticket money. We've done all right actually. You know, I wrote an article about this.
Where
You know,
did you write the article, Sean?
sorry.
Where's the article that people can read up
We've
about?
we've
On
done this.
6foot2.co.uk.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah. We earn, just for getting to the group stage, we earn 2.5 million. I don't know if you, well, 2.45 million to be precise. You earn 423,000 for each win. So, you know, that took us up prize money to 2.85. On top of that, we had a 30,000 home gate for the Viable game, 40,000 for the others. If you, on average, it works out about £20 a ticket, including corporate and everything. So that gives you another 1.4 million. Add to that, we get, because we're on BT Sport, a bit of the TV money. You got 4 million, so that's not bad considering that it's supposed
Take
to be-
away the 300 grand it will cost to put the game on.
What do you mean put the game on? No, it doesn't.
Well, see, we get 25 games there.
Yeah, we do.
Right, so we'll probably qualify. So at some point, we've got to start paying for the extra games.
You're right. So if we go over 25, but let's worry about that. If we're still in there, we have a lot more.
Well, look,
options.
all right, let's
At
go.
the moment,
19 in the league.
it's
Yeah.
at the moment, it's well within our allowance of 25.
Well, hold
which
up.
is
You
over
say
10
that.
million.
19 in the league. We got 3 guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've already got Blackburn at home in the
Yeah.
League Cup. That's 23. We've only got 2 cup games left, and we've got to start paying.
Yeah, but you know, by then we're in the semi-final or quarter-finals. I wouldn't
Well,
worry
no, because
about
we
it.
might get drawn at home in the League Cup again.
Yeah, true.
We might get drawn at home in the FA
anyway,
Cup. We might be
stop
like
spoiling
Arsenal.
my story.
We
As it
constantly get drawn at
stands-
home.
Look, we earn 35 million or 38 million from Europa League, including ticket money. We're already on 4 million. We've only had 2 games at home. I think we're doing all right in the Europa Conference League, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
30,000, 40,000 is not bad. The longer we go in it, I think the crowds will grow, you know. You bet. If we draw someone big, that will be a sellout. Who's in the other who's the other favourite? Villarreal.
What, in the Conference League?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. But you got
If
Cologne
we draw them,
as well.
you know,
But
if we draw
but
them in
what
the
you got to
knockout
remember,
round.
in the knockout stages, we get the dropouts from the UEFA.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, so we
So
could
we could
end
pick
up.
up some big names.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, go
I-
and read that story.
Can I ask a question on that?
Hammer's
you got?
£4 million windfall from Europe, if you're looking for it, by the way, because there's quite a few stories there. Go on, Stel.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on this? You know, this game, the game against Silkeborg hasn't sold out. Just over 700 tickets available.
Yeah.
The game last week, 30,000 fans, and many would argue cost of living has an impact
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And the minute we know we get through the group stages, people are going to be begging
Yeah, I
for
know.
tickets. So, my thinking is, if people make the effort to go away,
Yeah.
Viborg, Silkeborg, etc. And if people make the effort to go to the group stage games, do you think that they deserve the right to then have first dibs on
Yes.
the bigger games to come?
And funny enough, I wrote a story about
Yeah.
this.
I'll tell you the mad thing as well is that so Auto Cup scheme comes out. I'll be getting a ticket for the Blackburn game. They're
You in
going to
the
give me
club scheme then?
yeah. So, yeah, I thought I was, and I discovered I weren't, and then I've gone back into it.
I was going to say you should have got the
Yeah,
Europa.
well, that's why
Yeah.
I've sorted
Yeah,
it
so
out.
did I think I was in it, by the way, and I wasn't.
So, and this is the thing where West Ham's fantastic system doesn't work. But anyway,
you get another
gone back in it.
point, don't you?
We get
Double
2 points for Blackburn.
Yeah. So yeah.
What?
correct.
But people that go to Silkeborg are only going to get 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
That's wrong.
Did everyone get 2 points? By the way, the points that disappeared came back. I've got 12 points again now. Did everyone get their points back that went missing?
I actually just queried mine today because I don't think I got all mine back.
Are you in the cup scheme, Stel?
I am, yeah.
So do you get 2 points for European home games?
No.
Oh, you don't. Right. Okay.
No.
It's only 2 points for the domestic home games.
Yeah.
All right. Right. I need to do what Nigel's done and join them to get me 2 points.
But I think what the club will probably start doing, or what they should do, is make sure you attend. Because I will pick up with that. You said,
I'll tell you a story.
yeah. So you've said 40,000 tickets were sold, yeah,
Yeah.
for the Stour Bucharest game.
Yeah. FCFSB.
35,000 top whack in the ground.
But I think a lot of people, and I've heard this, buy the package, but then don't, then go. Some people bought the package, by the way, without even knowing the opposition or when it's going to be. They do.
Well,
start
that was
selling it
that. Yeah,
before.
but that was the thing, and this is where the club, I think.
I waited until I,
Well,
was in the
I
country and
didn't
could
know
make all
what
three.
games I could go to, so there is one that I can't make, and that's why I didn't buy all 3. But the weird thing about it is that the 3 game package. So let's just say it would have been 20 quid. So for me to go for 2 games is 40 quid. Well, the 3 game package was £42.
Yeah. I
So
know.
it's one of them things.
Just
but
going back to Silkeborg, or Silkeborg as you call them.
yeah,
Tickets, our allocation was only 760 and they're 12 quid each. And I know a few people who bought them, not reading the small print, that they're going to remove your point if you don't pick it up.
and ban you.
And ban you from the next Europa game, which
Yeah.
is Antelect. So they went on sale to bond holders and away season ticket holders. Obviously, it didn't sell out there, and they usually would. And that was on Monday the 5th. You had to have 43 points to start off with. And this is where the strategy fails, and I agree with Stel. So it was just a day ago, it was down to 31. It only came down to me at 9 o'clock this morning with my 12 points. Well, at 3 o'clock this afternoon, at 11 o'clock this afternoon, I think it was at 0 points. So any season ticket holder could buy one. At 3 o'clock this afternoon, it was down to Claret members, and which is where it is now. It still hasn't sold out. I've just checked this second. Now, about a day ago, I was told that 400 tickets out of 760 were unsold.
But
And
that's
it's now too late. If I had bought one this morning, there's no way. I mean,
that's what I'm saying, and this is the
I don't
the
even know
stupidity
how, and I think it's
of the way
difficult
they've done it. Why have they done it like this?
It's difficult to get to the ground
Why?
anyway. It's not easy to fly there, is it, Stel?
Do you know some away games? And this is the thing, Al. So if you look back, sometimes what they used to do was group ticket holder points into groups. So that it would go on sale for an away game, say up north, and it'd say everybody over 30 points gets first dibs, and then the clock starts coming down in 3 or 5 point blocks. Yeah, so then and that sort of frees up. So when you do it as West Ham do it in 35, 34, 33, 32, I've missed out. I could have gone to Everton Sunday. Now I missed out on getting a ticket, because I can't keep up with. It's like I've got to set an alarm on my phone because I can't keep up with when my window is. Because you just I think Everton sold out. I got 22 points or 23 points. I think I've got. And I think Everton sold out at 21 or 22, so I could have got a ticket.
I just missed out. I had one in my folder,
Southampton's
and then I
on
just
sale
missed
for a
out.
big
Yeah.
one. I've got to wait until when is sale? You've just maybe checked because I thought it was today. I wonder if Southampton sold out. Because I want to get Southampton.
And I think West Ham. Isn't it funny how West Ham can email you about garbage, yeah, but they never email you when when away tickets are going to be sold. You've got to keep checking the website.
Yeah, no, I make you
Yeah.
right.
So this is an important bit of information that the club should be revealing.
Shit.
And Southampton sold out.
Yeah,
So how many points?
I'm just checking
Don't
now.
know.
So it sold out to 21 points. Sean.
Oh, see, I knew I wouldn't get there again.
See,
So I've got to enter ballot again now. But yeah, 21 points. There's just no way I'm going to get an away game.
no, and this is
unless
the
I
thing.
get lucky in the ballot.
Yeah.
But Sean, this is what Nigel's point. What they did for Silkeborg is exactly what they should be doing for every away game.
Well,
now
they
we
are.
know
So
there's a
let me
black
tell
market.
you. So they are looking to share data with away Premier League games. That once they share the data, retrospectively, if you do not if your ticket has not gone through a turnstile, they will retrospectively remove the point afterwards.
Not before time. But the problem with that, Sean,
But it's a data thing. It's a data sharing problem up to now.
Right. But the problem with that is we know there's a black market for away tickets for
We
Premier
know
League
there is,
games.
yeah.
So, those tickets will get used regardless. And I hate even thinking about advocating this, but if they don't bring in a tighter system to control who actually gets the tickets, you're never going to get. I'm on 24 points, 25 points now. And I'm just lucky enough. I've just hit that threshold where I know I can start getting more away game tickets. But there's a lot of people like you and other people that will never have a chance. And at the end of this season, your priority points will disappear because they take off what you accumulated.
Do you know
the season
what?
before.
I've just tried to go in the ballot, which is supposed to be open that closes on the 21st, and it tells me I'm not eligible to enter the ballot for Southampton.
That must be just you, though, Sean. They're probably.
Well, usually I'm quite lucky in the ballot.
That's probably why.
True. But yeah, something's got to be sorted out. But there is abuse. Look, all I can say is they're quite strict when you do pick up tickets abroad. Stel, I'm sure you know.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm aware of that, and it's you know what? It's a good system to have because that would have been abused. It would have been even worse abuse if they hadn't introduced the way the voucher system's a pain in the arse, but it's the right thing to do, without a doubt. The right thing to do.
Oh, I don't know about that. To be honest,
Yeah, why, mate? I mean,
I'm not. Do you know
it's
what?
the only way certain fans
What's
will
gone
get
on has gone on forever, and if they went, there is a problem, and this is what the problem is. Yeah, is you got a sizable chunk of the away fan base, season ticket holders. Yeah, something they've had in place probably since the 2000s. Yeah. So I don't remember when away season tickets became a thing. They've got about 700, so they cap 3,000 away fans. 700. But then again, these are what we would call legacy fans. I think that is the phrase that is used. There's a good chance that near enough every away season ticket holder is what we would call an Upton Park boy. Yeah. If I'm not
Yeah,
being
no,
too
you're
harsh.
probably right.
Yeah. So, but what we've done is that the club, through marketing bollocks and everything else, have managed to increase the season ticket uptake, and obviously David, well, not just David Moyes, West Ham are better away from home than they ever used to be as well. Yeah. So in the old days, you'd be lucky to watch West Ham win away from home 3 times. Yeah, and that
True.
you go and look at the league stats. That'll be the fact of it. You know, now because for whatever reason, you know, we've got so many more people now that want to go away games, not just season ticket holders, club members. You know, you got fans that live up north that don't come down for home games that would love to go to an up north away game. How do
Yeah.
they get tickets? You know, and
They enter a
there's all
ballot.
this. Well,
Whose idea
yeah.
was it to do that balance?
Well, you know, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, Sean, but still. Well, no,
As
not
an
the
inviter
ballot.
for
My
myself.
my plan was actually the bigger the allocation, the more percentage of the tickets should go in the ballot. Or actually, my was the other way. The less the allocation, then the ballot should shrink with as the because before it was always, I think, 10%. And I said that if you've only got 2,000 tickets, that should be like 7%
Yeah.
should go in the ballot.
They were the days when we were running the ticket subgroup, weren't they, Nigel?
Yeah, yeah, when it actually worked.
It did, yeah.
Dear, oh dear. So, you know, the problem you got is it needs a discussion within the fan base. Yeah. But the fan base, in my opinion, is so fractured, got no real decent, which may be a bit harsh, but fan group that can sit with the club and actually have that conversation. So, you know, that's where the way I see it. As I see it, there's a part of me that thinks the SAB works better than the ISC. You know, than what we got now. The SAB actually worked better.
Yeah.
So
I don't disagree, by the way.
no.
Let's talk about other news. A little bit of I'll just have a quick thing of 6'2". I mean, probably we've done about 50 stories since the last time. Obviously, Moyes did his press conference today and confirmed Aaron Cresswell travelled and Craig Dawson travelled. Ben Johnson still not training, hasn't travelled. Kone, fine. Thomas Souček, fine. So just a Gurr and Johnson that are injured. So he's got quite a big squad to pick from. Although he does so, the artificial pitch might be a factor and he might rotate. They've announced, obviously, the Everton game will now go ahead on Sunday. It moved to 2:15. It's on Sky. And they will play a tribute to the Queen. There's a minute's silence, and I think the national anthem will be played. And then there's going to be a...
Unlike at the UEFA game.
Yeah, and there's going to be an
Unless,
applause...
of course, you're Rangers.
An applause on 70 minutes. Yeah, UEFA denied... I mean, obviously it didn't affect us, but because we didn't put up a special request because we didn't have a home game, but denied the national anthem to be played, which is a bit... one story that interests me today, a jetty who we sold to Celtic 4.5 million quid with some add-ons, he's left Celtic on a loan to Austria with an option to buy for £2.1 million. It just hasn't worked for him. I think he scored 9 goals in 50 odd games. He's way down the pecking order.
He played 50 odd games for Celtic.
Yeah, 48 actually, to be precise. 2 years ago he left.
Yeah.
But he's just, not
Colton
prolific
Cole
enough.
like stats there. I think Colton got less. So.
Yeah. But it was right to sell him. We all said, well, what are we doing? Was that a Pellegrini one as well?
Yeah.
Andy Carroll could move to Reading. He rejected a move to Iran. You got to laugh at that. I mean, you said, though, the other day, you wouldn't mind him. 33 years old.
That's right.
He turned down Iranian tractor side, which is apparently a side that used to make tractors in Iran, offered him 20 grand a week to play in a 1-year deal. and he turned them down, and he's looking to return to Reading. Interesting. This is a story that interests me today. I don't know if you've covered it still. You can talk about your new show. Hammer's hijacked deal after media video was shot. So the Athletic ran this great story saying, they didn't name them, but we all know who it was. Crystal Palace thought they'd sign Flynn Downs. They agreed a fee with Swansea of £8 million. They agreed add-ons. They agreed personal terms with the agent. He came down. He's done the medical. He did. Picture of him in the shirt. Did the announcement video. And the last minute, West Ham come in and hijack it. It just goes to prove. So all the ITKs and all the people who go, deal's done, deal's done, until someone signs on the dotted line, it's never done.
Sean, do you not remember the conversation we had when that happened?
No, I don't even remember tomorrow.
You told us we weren't allowed. You told us we weren't allowed to report it.
Yeah, I know I did. Yeah.
But didn't Flynn Downs come out and say that he was actually at Crystal Palace about to sign, and when they rung up and said West Ham were in for him, he had to leave Crystal Palace?
Apparently, he was in the office with the
he was.
the manager.
With the manager.
Yeah, but now it's in the public domain. It don't matter because
Yeah, but that would have been a great exclusive. It would have added at least 3 subscribers to my YouTube channel.
No, I hope. Now we did release a little bit of detective work. I did track down. This is a bit of a sad one. I tracked down the flight that took West Ham. I asked the club. I said, when are the squad flying? He went, oh well, it's a bit of a, we don't reveal that. So I worked out a little bit detective work still. I worked out what the closest airport was to Silkeborg, and then worked out what flights were arriving for London. All these websites are really handy. Worked out that the 737 was run by 2XL Aviation, who West Ham use all the time, and knew that it took off at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock today from Stansted and arrived at 2:20.
Would that just carry the team, would it?
It's actually got over 100 seats, so it probably would carry the team, the press,
All right.
the media department.
Because there's one thing that's coming for me about this European run, and it's the difficulty in supporters travelling. Now, and this is the thing, this ties up with, if West Ham, organised travel for fans, proper travel for fans, so fly them out on the day and fly them back home after the game with transfers, perhaps they could sell tickets up to the day before the game.
Agreed.
And what else?
Good idea.
The fact is that the club just doing the tickets, years ago the club would sell these packages. The fact that you can't get these packages on the open market. Nobody does fly you in, fly you out on the same day. Yeah, actually, that if you paid more for your flight, but you didn't have to pay hotel and everything else expenses, it makes the trip more affordable to fans. So the club could provide a service, possibly with a bit of profit thrown in, though I'm not a fan of the club making profit out of these things. It could be just a club service. They could fly you in
I agree.
and
they
fly
could
you out.
plane.
And guess what? You could put the players on the flight, and put the
help pay for
fans
it,
on the flight and everything else.
Yeah. No,
And it's a service, and it would open the door up to a lot of fans being able to get to games a lot easier.
Yeah. I don't know if you know, or you may know, one of our listeners offered to drive me, as long as I chipped in for petrol, 5 of them going to Belgium game. Do you know who that is?
I've got a good idea. You'd probably ask me first.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's why I said that, because
Yeah.
I'm sure I was second on the list
Yeah.
to the Antelope game. So, yeah, I know some people are driving to
Well, as my
Denmark as well.
preview of Viborg, it's a 1 hour 15 flight. So the way to do it was, I think, to fly to Aarhus, and then it's a 30.
That's where Dodds is flying to Germany, is he?
Well, I think he's going a bit of a roundabout way. But, I mean, if you're doing it direct, it's a 12-hour drive, though, Viborg. And, and I'm surprised a lot of people don't actually think about that, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, 12-hour drive.
I mean, the plan from our listener was to drive there and back, not stay
but
overnight.
hold up. I've done day trips to Belgium all the time.
Yeah,
A day trip to Brussels, very, very easy.
yeah,
Eurostar would have been fantastic. But then you think the club could have put on a Eurostar train.
yeah.
I
Could
had, sold the seats on it. You go in, and after the game, the Eurostar train's waiting in Brussels and take you on like the old fashioned, and then we're all back to central London in 2 hours.
Yeah, no, true.
It's such a shame that because those are really quite good ideas, and it'll build up a good atmosphere as well. Because you imagine the cost, everyone paying for their own travel accommodation and then having to stay overnight. I was looking at flights, and getting out there in the morning is easy. You got on 1 hour and a half flight from Stansted, gets you in at about 9, and then you can make your way to the stadium. But it's the game. The game doesn't start till what, 9 o'clock their time, which means that there's no way you're getting back that night.
Yeah.
And it is a shame because
Well,
that
it doesn't
would have been
kick
a good
off
package.
tomorrow to 9 o'clock, so they must be staying. I was trying to find the hotel, but couldn't track it down because all the hotels are cheap in Cyberpunk. There's no posh hotels there.
Yeah, but they've all sold out, Sean.
Radisson Blue was my best guess, but I didn't know that. So anyway, back to the news. New club in hunt for West Ham right back. Come on, we're having a little bit of a clue. Can you guess the story from the headline, Stel, or this is where I test whether you read any stories?
Well, Leeds.
It's Leeds. You're right.
Yeah.
Harrison Ashby, who was linked to a Newcastle move, and Preston North End 2.5 turned down. It's interesting because it'll be really interesting if we see him tomorrow. Because I asked the club and I said, look, I was told by a senior source that he was denied his move because we needed him for cover for Europa Conference League. Okay. And woe betide, last Thursday, he wasn't there. So little stories. I mean, Stel talked to me and go, what's going on, Sean? And, he'd heard the same rumours as I, I said, well, I've heard 3 different tales. Number 1, he's got a bit of a sprain. He's got a knock and he's out. Number 2, he's not making himself available. Shorthand for strike. Number 3, the manager's not choosing him because he doesn't think his head's right, or his mindset's not right. And I got the answer, sorry, that's a question for the manager. All right, well, ask him then. So it's interesting that today, and I know a lot of the journalists out there at the time, we all talk to each other. No one asked that question. So all eyes, he wasn't mentioning all the injuries, all eyes whether he's in the squad. If he doesn't make, is there 9 substitutions in?
He won't make it, Sean. He wasn't. He wasn't as part of the training. They put out a little video.
Well, there you
today.
go. So what was the point of denying him? I don't know what the truth is, and I wrote it's a mystery. But
I think, given that he wasn't even in training today, when you saw the video that was put out, you've got to make the assumption that he's got an injury.
Yeah. Now, while I've written, I think, about 75 stories since the last time we recorded, we have got one new news reporter who wrote one story. Why a certain Southampton defender snubbed the Hammers. Who wrote that?
Some bloke called Stel. I don't know.
Yeah, well done. There you go. Welcome to the newspaper business.
Welcome to the land of
story all about
sleaze.
then? What's the story about?
Hold up. I was just reading something else. Say that again.
What's the story about, Stel? Tell us.
Well, the story's about why Jan Bednarik decided to opt for Aston Villa over
I'm
West
asking
Ham.
you, why did he? I'm just seeing if you remember. You wrote the story.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Oh, no. Well, he had a conversation with David Moyes and he had a conversation with Steven Gerrard. The conversation with David Moyes went, apparently, this is according to the Polish coach who Bednarik spoke to. The conversation with Moyes was along the lines of, I've got an injury. I need someone to play as cover. Do you fancy it? And Bednarik thought, yeah, I'll take my chances, compete against all the other centre-backs.
Yeah.
And then the conversation with Gerrard was, you need to go to the World Cup. You need to be playing. You'll be part of my plans. Do you want to come? It's quite different.
Now, you're good. You're talking of centre-backs, and I do agree. I could never see him coming because, the choice. There were 2 centre-backs linked to us, and you asked me, and and I got a bit of grief from AI Sean going, well, just don't report it, talk to your senior source, and I did. two stories. One of I can't remember their names.
Dan
Sheffield
Axel
United,
Zagadou.
yeah, and one free agent. What are their names?
Well, that's the free agent. Dan Axel Zagadou, who played for Dortmund. And
No
John
interest. And I know other media outlets are going, it's close, etc. I have been told, and the Express has followed this up, no interest. No interest. It's not true. It's an agent talk. And then I was told the same with the Sheffield
What's
United
his name?
guy.
Dan Axel F.
That's
Zagadou.
it. Yeah.
Not Dan Axel F and not
Some-
Zagadou,
some-
etc.
Wannabe ITKs and some media YouTube channels are saying that it's close. I have asked not just one source,
Zagadou.
but three sources, and all three sources, one senior, one club, one non-club, have all said, ain't happening.
The conversation
Who's the
You
Sheffield
think
United guy? I
about-
forget his name. The 11 million guy.
the other guy is John Egan, the
That's
Irish
it, John
international.
Egan. Yeah.
He was good in Roxy Music.
But it ain't gonna happen. I've told Stel to trust me. I know that it keeps on popping up, but if it's a no, it's a no.
Well, here's the logic. You think of the logic. He was made a free agent on the 1st of July. We then got an injury to a gird, and then we chased Tilo Kehrer. If he was available from the 1st of July as a free agent, wouldn't we have signed him by now?
Yeah,
And
you're
why
absolutely
chase
right.
a player that costs
So why
10
did you
million
doubt me?
pounds?
Why did you doubt me?
It's not that I doubt you, but every time I open the latest social media page on West Ham,
Yeah, but I've told you
keeps
about
popping
listen.
up.
What have I told you about listening to West Ham Network? It's a load of old bollocks.
you are a bastard.
I know I am. I know. But hey, look, the button monkey and the Scotsman. No, I don't love them. No, I love them really. Next headline, right? Test. Hammer recalled to face Argentina in USA.
Is this a quiz?
It is a quiz, yeah.
Oh, right. Hammer who?
Hammer recalled to face Argentina in USA.
Basically, Nigel is trying to find out if you've read all his articles in 6foot2.co.uk.
Just in the last 2 days, by the way.
Hammer recalled to play Argentina
In USA.
in USA.
Yeah.
Is it Paqueta?
No, it's not.
Oh, right.
Antonio.
There you
It's
go. I didn't-
Antonio. He's been called by the Reggae Boys back to play for Jamaica.
You
in
know,
this-
you know that's going to end in tears, don't you?
You
just
do know.
Oh, so it just shows I don't read my own website now. Doesn't it?
Hammer's confirmed fixture changes, so you know that November's changed.
Yeah. Can I just point out, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you are the news editor of Claret. Sorry. Now you are the news
Oh,
of 6'2". Can I just point out?
yeah.
While I may not read every article, I do actually read more than I used to.
Oh, good.
So,
Without the adverts.
Since the transfer.
Yeah.
Well, even with the advert.
All right.
But anyway.
So I'm not going to do all of them, but this is one for you, Nigel. VAR decisions to be automated.
Well, this is about the Premier League looking at an automated VAR system from next season.
For
How on
offside.
earth is that going to work?
It's going to use AI, machine learning, to basically quickly look at lines, learn from previous decisions, and quickly make a decision in seconds.
Right,
Oh,
now.
you're talking about offside.
Offsides only.
Right, hold up.
Offsides
Right
only.
now, get it now. And this is great because the thing about VAR is everybody goes, "Why don't it cause a problem abroad?" And I pointed out recently that there's been problems in Italy. The big VAR problem just gone was in Italy. Did you see it, boys? The Juventus goal.
Yeah, I read about it. I didn't see it, I read about it.
93rd or 4th minute. So a corner comes in. The player heads it on. I think it brushes the attacker and goes in. They go mad. It's the 94th minute. Juve were 2-0 down as well, and this made it 3-2. The player takes his shirt off, everything. Gets a red card, second yellow. Gets sent off. But it don't matter, does it? Just as they kick off, referee goes, oh, hold up a minute, goes over to the touchline for the offside, disallows the goal offside. Yeah.
Oh.
So they look at the picture, yeah, and this is the thing. They look at the images, the camera images, and everything else. You know what the camera didn't pick up though?
No.
The defender out wide playing the attacker onside. So they only drew their lines from the defenders in
Then
the
at least
middle.
it'll be consistently wrong, as long as it's
Hold up,
consistent.
from the penalty area. What they didn't do was draw it from the last defender, who was actually out wide by the corner taker. So the bloke was never offside. The goal should have stood, and you know, it just reinforces me, you know, why I think VAR is a bad thing, should be scrapped, and that pressure should be brought on to scrap it. Because for every right decision, you get a wrong decision. Well, then we might as well have stuck with the referees and add football. You know, at least you can celebrate a goal once it's given, whether it be right or wrong.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
it just.
But it ain't going to be scrapped though, is it, Nigel? It's
No, it won't be.
No,
Scrapped. It
no,
won't.
and this is how you know it ain't going to be scrapped, because now they're looking at AI. So,
AI.
where football
AI,
was played
Sean.
with the
Ew.
benefit of the doubt given to the attackers, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. What VAR's done is, where before the offside rule, it was always benefit of doubt given to attackers, and because that would allow more goals.
Yeah.
Where it becomes definitive, VAR's a goal killer, and goals are fun, people.
Yeah. Right.
Don't you
back to
think
the
that if it's going to learn, Sean, you know, this AI system, that means that the
Machine
first
learning, yeah.
number of games are going to be...
Yeah, you know, you have to feed it all the data on previous decisions, and then
Right.
it using machine
Oh,
learning.
so you feed it on previous decisions. So
Yeah,
you
you
feed
do.
It, if you feed it duff data, it's going
Well,
to
no,
make...
you give it the
decisions.
bright data, it gets reviewed. But anyway, it's not an AI podcast. 5 more in the quiz. Prediction model reveals Hammer's final table position.
Oh, this is some supercomputer, isn't it?
Supercomputer says we're
There you
going to
go.
finish 11th. 12% chance of relegation. Would you take 11th? 48 points minus 6 goal differences.
Only if we win a cup.
Okay, all right. Next one. Hammer's value soars by 77%.
Hold up. So still, we don't win a cup. What? So you're not happy with 11th?
No, you know I...
Transition
you know what
year. Transition year.
Yeah, no, exactly. You know what I think.
Sack
about
Moyes.
that.
Moyes out.
No,
For finishing
don't,
11th?
don't you try and put that one on me. You know I'm not that way inclined. But there will be a lot of people, as you well know, Nigel, who will be extremely unhappy
Yeah.
if we finish mid-table because they cannot see the fact that, and I know Sean just said it, they cannot see the fact that it is a transitional season.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not going to they don't give a stuff. You know, people want success, whatever success looks like. For me, success winning a cup, like you said, Nigel. You know, just avoid relegation and win a cup is a successful season.
Yeah.
You know.
So West Ham value soars by 77%.
So says Sean. Did you
It
like
wasn't
that
so
bit I
says
put?
Forbes says it, right?
Did you not see what I put on?
I
the
did
ticket
say
tape?
what you put, on the ticker tape. West Ham has been valued by Forbes at 770 million, with a 77% increase in the last 2 years.
Is that
18th most valuable club in the world.
is that Tyrell Forbes, who used to be a defender for us in the
No, it's a
90s?
US business publication,
Oh,
Forbes.
is it?
Very well respected. Do you know what?
Oh.
Daniel Kredinsky has done quite well. We've always said he's an investor. If that's true, he bought his shares for 150. He's made 60 million already on his shares. So, you know, I do look. I've got no reason to believe that 770 is not correct. But they do value Everton and Leicester more than us, which makes it a little bit doubtful. But there you go. West Ham vice chairman greets new king. Come on, this is one for you, Nigel, because I know you love this. One.
Do you know what? Obviously I didn't read it, but obviously Brady out, long live the king. I think my tweet.
Well, do you know what? She's a member of the House of Lords. She got front seat when she greeted King Charles III.
Yeah.
You know, we forget she's a House of Lords. So and she put her memories on the Sun. I know you read them about how many times she met the Queen and her memories of the Queen. Former Hammer is top scorer in Italy. This is
Yeah,
the
I know
last
this
but one.
one.
Go on, who is it?
It's Arnautovic. He's got
He is, yeah.
6 or 8 goals.
Yeah.
I think he's got 8 goals, and the next
Yeah.
place is 6.
Should we have got it at £2.7 million from China? 33-year-old.
Well, you're opening up a can of worms here, aren't you? Because you know who I'm going to mention.
Who?
Allaire.
Yeah.
No, we can't say one player doing well in a foreign league.
Yeah.
No, hold up.
Yeah, but it is
Still,
Italy, and Italy's not a proper league.
Still,
Remember?
hold up. Italy,
Oh, here we go.
Italy's hard at the scoring in the Premier League.
Well,
2,
yeah, they've got tougher defenders. I'll give you that.
2, I mean, Haller didn't set West Ham alight. I think you could argue Arnautovic did very well. So
Yeah.
I think there is a difference there. The fact that Man United were looking at him, seriously were looking at him, and I never understood the fan reaction in Arnautovic. The problem with Arnautovic ever coming back to West Ham was the way he left us to go to China.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
would I have Arnautovic back? We all know he prospered under David Moyes, and I think Arnautovic possibly may have been. Skamaka, I'm still 50-50 on. You know, and I don't doubt the bloke's talent. This comes down to the way we play. You know, you can see by the second half Antonio coming on. For Skamaka to thrive, he needs a left-footed winger on the left and a right-footed winger on the right. Well, we all know Moyes, you know, don't play like that. He plays Bowen on the right, who's left-footed, and he wants Cornet on the other side.
Yeah.
So he likes inverted wingers that can cut in and will score goals as well, share the goals around the front three rather than have one as a focal. And I think that may cause Skamaka a problem.
Yeah.
I think it might cause another player problems as well, and that's Paquetá. Because
you're finally getting into it now, aren't you? Using his right name.
Yeah, I am, because I actually listened to his video and he said it the stat.
Well, that's where we got it from, yeah.
And
we know what we're talking about still.
Even though I'm the worst person to tell people how to
Strangely
pronounce
enough.
names.
Yeah.
No, but when I did a preview on him, he played a 4-2-3-1 system in Milan, didn't work. He went to Lyon. The manager changed the system for him to a 4-3-3. He thrived. And I reckon Skamaka and Paquetá would thrive in a 4-3-3. But is Moyes willing to change it?
We should bring in Vlasic. Toronto is tearing it up. How many goals has he scored in
Toronto. In Canada?
Toronto. Torino.
Is that right?
Torino.
Right. Oh, Torino in Italy. Make your mind up. Where's he playing, Sean?
He's how many goals has he scored in
three goals?
Three and three though. Three goals in 3 games.
Yeah, it was 3 and 3. Yeah, but he hasn't scored for the last 2 games.
And they've got. I know they keep on saying a 15 million euro, but my senior source says 13. Do you know what? It's 11 million quid. They've got a bit of a bargain. Not that we've paid that much because we're sort of not paying after the first instalment because of Russia, not paying the rest. But still, everyone's now writing stories going, his value has soared. I don't know.
Let's see at the end of the season how well he does. It's great now, but the only way you can evaluate...
But people saying to get story, he's playing in his favourite position, is being played right, and Moyes never did that. One more quiz story. Right, and it's the top story of the last week. It is the top story by far. It broke all records for the biggest story on 6'2". West Ham goalkeeper fractures arm in freak accident. What are you laughing at, Stel?
Because I know the answer.
Go on.
But when I read it, even I got worried.
Hey, you knew the story. Do you know what? It happened in late August, and most people missed it. It just didn't make the headlines. And when I read it, I thought, well, that's a great story to write. Well, and even Ed said to me, he got driven in. He called me a clickbait.
Even Nigel got sucked into that.
Oh, we caught everyone out on that.
But I did mention to you, Sean, that I talked about that in my show about...
Oh, did you?
About a month ago.
Well, you didn't use a clickbait headline like that, did you, though?
Clearly not. Clearly not.
Come on, for the people who don't know, what was it about?
Joseph Anang just
It
moved to
was.
Derby, and within a week fractured his wrist in
Yeah,
training.
yeah. So there you go. Look, 6'2", lots more stories than that. We haven't got time to go through them all tonight. But Stel, can you you're doing a daily show now, aren't you, with some
I
of the
am
news
indeed.
stories? Tell us about that and where you can find that.
Well, you can find it on West Ham Voice YouTube channel, and it's a bit rough and ready at the moment. I won't lie to you. I'm trying to get the format right, but basically, it's just a very short show. Longest it will be 10 minutes at most, just highlighting the latest news stories,
Yeah,
as
there you
you'll
go.
find in 6foot2.co.uk.
We're all part of the family, you know. West Ham Voice, 6'2", more than just a podcast. It sounds like an advert.
Claret and booze.
And Clarent Booze, let's not forget them. Said Nick. And I love you, really. Anyway, we are one of the stories, the big exclusive day, and it probably hasn't got the kind of readers that I would hope. So I'm going to give it a little bit there. 6'2" did a freedom of information to the London Legacy development because our friend Dodsey is very upset about. I think he calls it the Brady.
6'2's away fan.
Yeah, is upset about the new wall, the Brady wall, I think they call it. So I thought, all right, I'm going to ask a number of questions. And about 20 days ago, I wrote to the London Legacy Corporation and said, right, I've got a number of questions. I think I had 20. And the information came back today. So the new West Stand, they revealed cost 15.5 million. It was awarded to, it's a 5-year contract, awarded to ES Global Limited. The contract lasts into 2027 with an option to extend to 2029. It said that during consultation of the West Ham were held with West Ham United. Documents shared included the tender documents, the tender returns, choice of materials, the design reports, and the West Ham install period and program. It said the club did not have to approve the final stand, but as tenant, it had an integral part in the development of the stand. Now, this is where it gets interesting. West Ham did have to pay towards the stand as a one-off capital contribution. It paid 373,858. Yeah. And it pays 191,700 index per annum towards the transition costs. Now, I guess in return, it got the nice corporate seats, the 1966 seats. It does say then a further sum of 400,000 for unavoidable costs is yet to be finalised. Is in the discussion of the club. In other words, they're arguing over 400 grand. Now, I asked the question: were there any conditions within the concession agreement about the West Stand? And it said yes. Conditions are contained within the concession agreement and the variation 1, 2, 3 deeds, which are available on the website. Then it says the stadium owners said there was a consultation with the safety advisory group for the wall, and that stadium safety advisory group consists of Newham, which is led by Lewin, Sheila Roberts. It has Westfield on it. It has London Ambulance Service, has TfL on it, has West Ham on it. Who else does it have on it, Nigel?
Wissa.
Oh, right. Well, I think called the West Ham United Trust. I don't know if they attend the actual meeting or they're briefed separately. But I asked, well, why was this wall installed? And they said the SAG, the Safety Advisory Group, raised concerns about missile throwing and interactions between home and away fans in Block 114 and 117, which became an immediate issue after the Europa match between West Ham and Rapid Vienna on 25th of November 2021. Now, that was, I was there. There was a lot of missiles being thrown backwards and forwards, but mostly by Rapid Vienna, I will tell you. But unfortunately, some of our people threw stuff back. During the design of the West Stand, the club's operations team were consulted on the nature of the barrier and proposed some alternative materials, such as netting and perspex, as used in other European clubs. However, these were not viable. So it does actually say the club could see this coming and suggested perspex and netting, but it was turned down.
I find that extremely bizarre, Sean, because
I know, but
I know you told us in the chat
go on.
earlier on that the netting was not considered because of the roof.
Yeah, we're going to
Well,
get to that bit in a minute where they say that. So they say while it was. So then I asked, was it a requirement? Was the new wall a requirement for the raise to 62,000 and a half? And they said, while it was not a requirement of a football authority to install the new wall, previous fines, which by the way the stadium have to pay, and security incidents were a contributing factor considered by the licensing authority, Newham Council, alongside other measures required to improve the stand and increase capacity to 62,500. So in other words, yes. They then say the rationale for installing the barrier were 1. To address concerns raised by the licensing authority, Newham Council. 2. To address previous instances of antisocial behaviour and disorder, including verbal abuse, missile, coin throwing, threatening gestures, goading of away fans, and standing on the scrimmage service previously in place. 3. To build on the partial success of a 2-metre barrier that reduced but did not eradicate incidents between away and home supporters. 4. To reduce the potential for sanctions from UEFA, Premier League and the FA. 5. To reduce cost of stewarding in the area. That's a big factor. 6. To form part of an overall design of the West Stand, adding
You're
a
boring me now.
border to the stand in design of both north and south stands. The public body, this is the last bit, says netting was considered, but what in the end was considered not suitable due to the configuration of the stadium roof. So, and the last line is West Ham pay, the cost of that new wall from floor to top was £117,000, although it was not a standalone cost. Nigel, we're just look. We've got the information now, and it's quite a thorn, And I've sent this on to Dodsey, and I've actually sent a copy to Hammers United and FSA and various other stakeholders. Well, where do we stand on this now, or where do you stand on this now?
You're not allowed to stand there for a start. That's half the problem. Look,
it's the end, isn't it? It ain't going.
Well, it was never going to go. And this is the thing. When I see it for the first time, you could see it's built in the way it is. That's there. The thing is, while people focus on the Vienna game, there's been more than one game. I sit above there. I see everything that gets thrown over and back again. Yeah, it goes back and forward. A lot of stuff, individual stuff though. So like, you might get a game where 2 bottles are thrown into the away end. Yeah, so someone's managed to smuggle a bottle of drink in there and they lob it into the away fans. We know the area is sometimes overpopulated. We know how they do it.
Well, it's not now, since they've made the change.
No, and this is the thing. So we know at the time the area was possibly overpopulated. They didn't know who was literally in the area because there was more people there than should have been. And we know that went on, so people can't throw that at me. And and bottles were thrown in there. So actually, it's the actions of the minority that have caused these problems for the majority. Now, at the end of the day, I still maintain that instead of that closed wall, they could have done that in perspex.
Yeah.
They could have had the same height.
Well, it sounds like West Ham did ask that, and they said it was not viable. No,
but because what it is that, and this is the thing, it's been taken out as a non-footballing matter. As you said, the fines, if there's trouble there, who pays the fines, the club or the stadium?
So it's interesting.
Because if it's the stadium that's paying the fines, if the fines are put upon the stadium, then this is a stadium decision.
Yeah.
And they are not going to give one jot about what it does to the atmosphere or the spectator viewership of the game or everything else that goes along with home fans being able to see and have close proximity to the away fans.
Yeah, no.
So therefore, this may seem harsh, but every person that threw a bottle in that area and walked out of there or thrown anything has caused this, because you can hurl abuse and everything else.
by
But
the way,
I've seen the damage that
there
a
was stuff
bottle.
going over.
Well,
I
this
will
is the
tell
thing.
you, on
As
Thursday
it worked,
night,
well,
no,
it hasn't, because
no.
I've sat there and I've
Yeah,
seen it.
well, Thursday night I
Yeah.
saw something go over the wall, so
Yeah.
it hasn't eradicated it. No.
People now lobbing it blind. But
Yeah.
that's all, because the funny thing is that if they'd have put netting up from top to bottom, and they're saying they couldn't hang it from the roof, where there's a will, there's a way. Nothing's impossible. It's just they're looking at it and think, the netting would have stopped everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the funny thing.
Well, I can tell you, when I went to Lyon, there was perspex separating us and the away fans at the top, which did the job perfectly well. People could bang on it, but so what? And there was netting that went from the ground all the way to the top of the roof of the stadium, and it did the job it was meant to do. If you decided to throw anything, it's only going to go on your own fans, and there is absolutely no reason whatsoever for them to have turned down the option of putting netting up or perspex, to be honest.
Well, I
Bizarre.
think netting would have been the ideal thing, because netting would have stopped near enough 100% of bottles being thrown. Actually, you just lob it over the wall now. You're throwing it blind, and that's not good, because actually, generally, when people were throwing bottle, they were trying to throw it at some away fan that was, giving it to the home fan. So they were aiming at someone. Now they're just lobbing it into fans who are going to not see it coming, and could be just, not partaking in that part of what's going on. But the funny thing about it is, and what I say to people down there is, upstairs where I am, 2 blocks away, you've got West Ham fans, no perspex, no wall. Why is that? Because while you had the odd fan jump over,
down and you've got vicars around
that's
you.
not true. Because if you look, they give each other dog's abuse up on the line. But what they don't do is they don't throw bottles at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or water butts in the case of...
True. Yeah, well, that was another story. Interesting thing, I don't know if you have read this today. I'm sure Stel has, because he's on the ball. Have you seen this ban letter that's gone out?
Yes.
And I was partaking on Twitter, and I got a bit of abuse back on it. But
I've got to see. So, all right, so tell me your take, and I'll
so
abuse you.
I've said, look, there is a procedure, free of charge, because I've done it quite a few times,
Well done, you.
allow someone, right, to have your ticket. And that is, you don't print it off, you forward it to someone else, another account number, right? You can create one within seconds, and then it's in their name. It's not in your name. You're not responsible for it. You give it to them. It costs $0. You don't have to pay a booking fee. They have it done, right? If you sell it, right, and I'm not saying I've ever sold any of mine, you should not be selling it on a public forum, on social media, etc., right? Because that's against the terms and conditions and the ground regulations. So you've gifted it to another person. If there is no proof that you sold it and you've correctly used the forwarding, then you can't get banned. Right? So my question is, well, how is this person, what evidence do they have? Oh, I've just managed to apply for 2 tickets. Good luck, it says, in the Southampton ballot for myself and Finley. So I don't know enough details, and I replied to the person and went, oh, well, they won't listen. And then I said, just to finish this off, I said, well, they will listen now, because there's a new football ombudsman, I can't say the word, who found, and I linked the thing because I've read a story
who found West Ham
in breach of their appeals procedure. They have told them they've got to have an independent appeals process, and I've said, look, if you've been banned without any proof that you sold it, right? So if you sold it privately and there's no way they can know, if they haven't got no proof and no one's grossed you up with evidence, then appeal it and you'll be found innocent. Because if you insist that you gifted it to someone else and you followed the right procedures, then you can't get banned.
Right, just so people don't know, this is someone on Twitter who's published the letter from the club, informed them
From your
that
mate Ben Linsworth
but who, because they sold a ticket, was it for the Man City game?
for the Man City game. Yeah.
That they've now been banned from the next 3 home games.
Yeah.
For selling a ticket. Now, we don't know what evidence the club have got that he sold it. We don't know if he sold it. You know, I don't know the person. I know him on Twitter. Big West Ham fan. Don't for 1 minute think he sold it for a profit. So I think he's just said, I'm not going at this game. Who wants to go? Yeah? And sold it
But
or whatever.
I'll
Right,
tell you
hold
one
on.
thing.
And
right?
I get you, the club have put this process in. Yeah? But to pick one fan out, and I don't know if they've done it,
Well,
and to
I'm
do
going to tell you
this,
something in a minute. That I
yeah.
believe.
So I'd like to know how many other fans have been collared like this, but to do it in the way that they've done it, I think is actually disgraceful.
So I can tell you now, a little bit of how sausages are made. A lot of people think that West Ham employees hang in forums and
No, they
West
don't.
Ham. They don't, right? They don't have the resources and they're incompetent, quite simply. I've told Stel this. I've told Nigel knows this. We've asked it. They just don't know. Do you know where they get most of their information from?
Yeah, people can grass.
People
Yeah.
take screenshots and grass people up. And Stel,
Yeah.
you'll know this.
Yeah.
Any ticket abuse, 99.9% of the time, is because another West Ham fan has grassed another West Ham fan up.
And that is very, very bizarre. And why would someone do that?
I don't know, but that's
I'll tell you why people do that generally. Why would people be grasses? And the thing about it is that what you got to try and be is you got to try and be nice to people. Yeah. So let's put it like this: say a certain Sean Whetstone wanted to sell something publicly and whatever against the rules.
I get grassed up like no.
There would be a queue round the whole stadium ready to grass Sean up.
That's true.
Because that's the way of life. Yeah. If you go around upsetting people, you don't know when that person that you've upset may think, I'll get my own back on you. I'll grass you up. Yeah. That's how it works when grass is, or sort of whatever, people grass people up to the police as such or whatever. It's not done by your mate who thinks, actually, you've been a bit stupid, I'm going to tell the bill. It's generally done by probably another member of the criminal fraternity, yeah, that you've upset or is in a rival gang, and they will grass you up. That's how it works. So, generally, you will see there's a reason why I don't do anything like that publicly. And there's the reason why.
Yeah. Well, don't get caught, guys. Don't go on public forums under your own name and try and sell tickets, and don't publicise your seat number and stuff like that. It's just stupid. Look, we said we're going to record a short one, and we're already nearly on 100 minutes. We don't have time for questions this week.
Yeah, but that's because you wanted to bang on about Bleeding 10 stories.
We're promoting your website, Nigel.
Yeah.
We're going places, mate. We're going.
But
places.
you didn't bring up anything I wrote this week.
Well, go on. It's your time to.
No,
your
I'm
own
just saying. No,
whistle.
I read it, Nigel, and it was a really good read as well.
What's
What one
about?
still?
The Silky Borg preview.
Yeah, did you like it?
I thought it was really interesting.
Did you like the what about the manager one? Did you read the manager one?
Well, mate, that gave me the inspiration when I did the preview tonight, which had just gone out.
I'll watch that later. Yeah.
And I got Danish Hammer Fleming on.
Oh yeah.
And we talked about Kent
There you go.
Nielsen.
See.
All right, I'm quickly reading it.
Yeah. Bit of local knowledge. Kent Nielsen. Yeah. It's was at Aston Villa for a couple of years basically, and played a couple of games against West Ham. The one thing I didn't put on there, I forgot to put on there. So
it's far better. It's not too long. It's not 1,000 words.
No,
so I can read that one. You're
no,
learning.
that's what. Yeah. So with them previews, I split it into two.
Yeah,
so,
good idea.
Thank you very much. So the thing about Kent Nielsen that I didn't put on there, this is strange facts, is that his player number. So which is not really advertised. They do it a lot. They do it in cricket. So if you play cricket for England and you see an England cricketer with like 754 on his hat or whatever, that means he's the 754th player to win an England cap playing cricket. Yeah. So his Aston Villa number is 666.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. See, and you think normally you'd think, 669. Something I did learn that I thoroughly researched this in the Aston Villa Hall of Fame. I think it was 669 was Frank McAvenny.
Oh,
Yeah. So when he left West Ham, went to play for Villa for 3 games. Obviously didn't work out for Frank, but there you go.
anything else you want to plug or talk about before we?
People
do
may not
prediction?
realise the game's also being played on a plastic pitch.
I do realise
Yeah.
that there was a story about that earlier, and
Well, I wrote it in the article.
oh right, yeah. Well, I also
So,
wrote
yeah.
what
Yeah.
David
Yeah.
Moyes said about it in his press conference today.
And also,
What did you? All right, let me ask
I'll
you a
tell
question.
you what I also covered.
Go on.
Yeah, is that how can we judge how good Silkberg are?
I don't know.
What would be the best judge, Sean? Come on, think now.
A
How do
Danish
we
hammer?
judge?
I don't know.
Right. So when have we played a Danish team?
Well, the other week.
Right. So how would you judge?
Are they better than Viborg?
Right. How would you judge that?
Are they higher in the league? How many times
if
have they
you
won
watch-
the league?
How about when they played each other
Oh,
recently?
good. Oh, what a good
Yeah.
idea.
Who won that game?
You should write about that.
I did.
Oh,
he did write about it. And
I have to
Viborg.
read it.
Viborg beat Silkberg 2-0. So
Oh,
if you
there
look
you
at
go.
it and you think, therefore,
Well, we should beat them.
well,
And if you watch the preview show, you'll find Danish Hammer will say the same thing.
So-
that Viborg is slightly
Well,
better.
yeah.
That's
So
it.
will the artificial pitch have? So what Moy said earlier is he's a bit wary of his selection of the artificial pitch, and he might do some rotation. That's what he said. And apparently, the story goes, Antonio turned up with special AstroTurf boots, and Moy said to him, "Where's your tennis racket, mate?" True story.
Well, I don't know why you're laughing at that, to be fair, because those of us that remember the QPR pitch
Yeah.
Yeah.
would have known that they would have had to have played in Astro boots.
That's right. Astro
So-
boot, yeah.
AstroTurf boots, normal boots, your moulded studs or your screw-in studs
No good.
would have 10 to 12 studs in them, or now you've got blades and everything. But obviously Astro boots would have about 40 to 50 minute studs in back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same now, but
Anything else before we get to predictions, Nigel?
yeah, I've read a story today. I told Sean about it. It'll be released soon. I might even put this on the Facebook group because it was so good. So if we've all heard the phrase "Mr. Moon's in the building," remember
Oh,
that, Stel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do, mate.
Yeah. Well, I suppose Mr. Moon has wrote an article for me.
Oh, what?
So not the man that said Mr. Moon's in the building. But
Mr.
if
Moon
you
himself.
know who Mr. Moon was, out of the blue, has emailed me an article, and it's not long, but it's so interesting. I've emailed him back and said we got to do more, mate. So
Hang on. What wasn't Mr. Moon about the security turning up at the
No.
club?
well, no
Fire alarm.
fire alarm, fire service.
Fire alarm.
Yeah. So
Mr. Moon.
this
has
is
left the stadium.
a former firefighter stationed locally, and he tells the story from the beginnings of when the fire brigade started to work at Upton Park and why.
Is he a West Ham fan?
No, he's not. I won't say what club he supports, people, but this is the mad thing.
Spurs.
He lives in the area. No. He lives in the area, and he's a West Ham season ticket holder now.
Yeah.
But
His surname ain't Moon, then, is it?
no.
No.
Fucking hell, Stel.
That was a code name. Come on.
I know it was a code, but you never know. You never know, you know.
No. Well, we did at the time, so
I
there you
don't think
go.
he was just in charge on his own, was he?
No,
there was
no,
more than one of them.
No,
right?
but he was there
just
at
to
the
be clear for
no.
Stel.
Yeah.
You know,
It'll be revealed in the
probably,
article.
You know,
Yeah.
in Cyprus, you probably
it-
have got one fire.
It's a
man
great
for the whole of the
insight.
island.
Yeah, it's a great insight into ground safety, and actually,
look
while
forward to
we
that. I'm gonna read that
all-
one.
while we all mourn the football
We should
grounds.
get him on the podcast.
Well, I've asked him, so hopefully, while we all mourn the football grounds of the 1980s and 1990s, the reason why we don't have them anymore is only for the benefit of football. When you think about it. So.
You just remind me a story. Talk to your friend, your good friend, and my good friend, and Stel's good friend, John Ratomski.
Oh, yes.
He's out in Frankfurt at the moment. He usually goes to the away games, but he's out in Frankfurt on business. And I asked him, because I heard, I think it was something that was on KBNB, but I asked him, I said, I want a story. And because Delaware North, boo, gave some of their food for the Newcastle match, match obviously in the Bay. Yeah. And he said to me, he's just messaged me today actually from Germany. He says, Jake Heath asked Delaware to split the leftover food with Irons Food Banks. I tried a few food banks, but unsuccessful because they weren't giving me fresh foods. He said, but we have a good link with Anger House Homeless Hostel in Canning Town. Do you know that?
Yep, I do indeed.
He said, we've been supplying them with food and clothes for about a year. I put them in touch with Delaware, who made the delivery, sandwich, wraps, etc.
Anger House started off as a homeless seamen's mission, obviously because of the docks, but obviously when the docks shut, there weren't many homeless seamen hanging around.
He's in a trade show in Frankfurt, he's going to Holland, blah, 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 Poland. And he says, he will... so this is an exciting bit. He says he's going to pen an article for 6'2" when he gets back, if I haven't mentioned 6'2" enough. He says, we're now handling... So this is the cess, and look, it's all thanks to John. We're now handling about £250,000 for the local community. Yeah. Dagenham Council have given us a storage container in Chadwell Heath, and I will collect the keys next week when I get back.
Well, so I'd like to point out, obviously, my wife does a lot of work in the local area where I live, Thurrock, with families with autistic children. And through John, he's helped supply her with food that she's been able to give out to families, families that are part of her group. She's got a wide network, like 800 families now. And they've in the past they've done like cooking clubs for the kids, and with food provided by John. And also, recently again, John donated another load of food, and we basically not a food bank as such, but was able to put it out to families that were struggling. There are families out there, that I know personally, where single parent on their own, and they've been struggling. So to make sure they feed the kids, they've gone without food.
Yeah,
this happens. So, I've got nothing but thanks to John there.
John does a really good job, and he's taken that from nothing to...
And credit to the club as well, because they do give John a lot of support as well.
Jake Heath thinking of him and getting involved, so it's a team effort. Stel, we're coming up to the 2-hour mark, so, we're after that.
There is one more story that you haven't covered.
Go on.
Todd Bowley and his plans for the Premier League.
Oh, the All-Stars. I saw that, and I got a bit... there's some stories I just got a bit like...
I don't know, because
do you really?
It is a thing.
Declan Rice is going to be the captain.
I'm not against that. Right? I'm not against that. Well, hold up, and hear me out. Yeah, I do have stipulations. Yeah, and this is what it would be. So years ago, and I know it was good. Yeah, we used to have called league representative games, so football league against the rest of the world. They'd pick a player from each club, and they would play this. So a lot of people are anti this because it's coming from an American point of view.
Yeah.
But me, North versus South, I like the idea. But I do stipulate. Hold up. No. It's a game. It's not. It's one game, either halfway through the season or in the season. But this is the stipulation, yeah? No foreigners, mate. Yeah, and not only that is, I don't care, if you're Jadon Sancho playing for Man United, you play for the South, mate, because that's where you come from, So no out-of-towners. If you was born further than Watford, you play for the North, and below Watford, you play for the South. Let's bring it on.
Yeah.
Do you know? Here's my point. Here's my view. You allow them to do this, and the next minute you're going to get football matches played in 4 quarters. You're going to get
Premier
advertising
League,
Hold
galore.
up, hold
World
up, hold up, hold
Series,
up.
Premier League,
Premier League,
Stel,
World
Stel,
Service,
Stel.
head-to-head, playoff,
This is the
final,
thing.
Super Bowl.
The thing you got to do is you don't have it as a Premier League thing for a start, yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
the
that's
reason
not
why I
what he's
say
all
that,
about, is he?
oh no, and this is what I'm saying. I'm not anti the idea. I don't like the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Or it's not something I actually watch. I watch American football. I watch a
Oh,
bit
I
of
watch
NBA
it,
or
but you
baseball.
accept it for what it is.
Don't I don't watch these
What's
All-Star
your
games.
baseball team?
But seriously though,
New
this
York
is
Mets or
thi-
Yankees.
this is the
Stel,
start.
before just interrupt. What's your baseball team?
I don't have a favourite baseball team, but I do watch it, but not that often.
Atlanta Braves. Go
Oh, right,
Braves. Go
For-
on.
American
Look,
football team, Sean.
San Diego Chargers.
Why?
Because I visited.
It's the only one he knows.
No, I visited San Diego once. John's got family there.
But you know they've moved
And-
to LA now, didn't you?
I didn't. I know it's the only game I went to.
This is. I'll
This
tell
is
you
what
why.
I'm
Because
telling
because John Booch's cousin comes from San Diego, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And-
unfortunately, San Diego Chargers no longer play in San
Well, I
Diego.
didn't know that because it was so long ago I went to San Diego. I went to a game. It's the one game, the American
Oh,
football
right,
game
yeah.
I've been to in America. And my partner's family come from Atlanta, so that's why it's the Braves, Atlanta Braves.
Oh, okay.
But I do like Chicago Cubs because I went to see a game there once. But that's another story. It's not a baseball podcast. Anyway, we're running out of time. Still, we interrupted you, but I do want to then you give a plug for what you're up to at, running a marathon with Russ and whatever you're doing with
The only place you can catch me now is on West Ham Voice and 6foot2.co.uk.
Yeah.
So subscribe, become a member, and subscribe to one and subscribe to the other.
Yeah, you've hit a new subscriber level, haven't you, in the last week?
I hit over 2,000 a couple of weeks ago, and I'm on my way to 2,200.
There you go. Go Stel.
I know.
One of them is Finley, obviously, my son.
So you keep telling me, I know.
So apparently.
I
doesn't
feel sorry
listen.
for him because
He
every
doesn't
time
listen.
say
I
it-
say, you listen to the podcast. He went, is there anything interesting? I don't know. And I went, no. He goes, well, I won't listen then. He said, you tell me everything in the circle of trust and stuff. So, Actually, Dodsey did get added to the 6'2" WhatsApp group after asking last week. So I shouldn't really shout out WhatsApp groups because people will ask to get in the WhatsApp group after we mention them.
Yeah, but Doddsy is a contributor to 6'2",
He is.
and he turned up at the right time, didn't he?
He did.
You know, there's Doddsy wondering if what I said about it being the most bonkers WhatsApp group in the
Well,
world
it is.
ever.
It gets 200 messages a day.
And as if just to prove it, it was like a revolving door. There was a few in, there was a few out, and there's still one out.
Yeah.
Probably not coming back.
In, out, shaking
And,
all about. You do
yeah.
the okey dokey, you turn around. Right, we've done the plugs. Let's move on to predictions.
Can I just point out, without anyone saying anything, for those that listen or whatever, when two of your mates have an argument, it's very difficult for the people in the middle. And that's all I will say on the matter. So, behave.
But I haven't asked you to be in the middle.
No, I don't. I didn't say you, did I? Still, might have been
that is
someone
true,
else
you
I was
didn't.
talking
There you
about.
go, I put
So
my foot right
you
in
just
the
fucking outed yourself,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a
So
philosophical
anyway,
discussion.
yeah. So anyway,
People just won't know what's going on. Predictions.
Yeah.
We've got 2 games: Silkeborg, Borg,
yeah.
and Everton away. I'm going to neither. I guess none of us.
Very
are not-
silky bog.
So let's start with, I guess, Stel. Predictions.
Silky Borg 3-0. Everton. It'll be tough, but I think we'll beat them. It'll be 2 different teams. I think we'll win 2-1.
Nigel.
Yeah, I think Silkeborg. I'll go 2-0 just to be different, but I was thinking around 3-0. I don't think we'll.
And
I don't
Everton?
think- Everton, I think maybe a different kettle of fish. I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
Bit of pressure.
I'll go 1-0 for Silky Book. And I'll go Everton away, Fat Frank. 1-0 away win. That's it. That's all the time. You know, we said
in this short podcast.
I said to Nigel, I said, let's not do questions. Let's do half an hour just to, keep our listeners happy. He said, do you know what? He said, when it's just us two, they're the longest podcasts ever. And we haven't done questions and we've still done nearly 2 hours.
I think I said we averaged 2.5 and it's just me and you.
Well, we're not
we're
quite
short-changed
2 hours.
it. Haven't
We're only at an hour 55. We are going to go out with another. Just to say, we will be silent because Nigel will be on his organ playing "God Save the King" as a little tribute to the new king and departed queen. But we'll be back next week. So
on Monday.
Not on Monday. No, we're not recording on the Queen's funeral, so probably Tuesday. I've been Sean. Nigel has been
scrapbooking.
Stel has been
doing all things West Ham. Minute I finish work.
Yeah, and now our new roving reporter. Come on, you irons. See you next week. Take away, Nigel.
Thank you very much.
More than just a podcast.
Oh, you don't know how hard it is to play that, I'll tell you.
More than just a podcast.
Oh, well, this is not me, people, by the way, playing this.